welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Jeannie Ashray and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Adam Bloom. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board, 6 categories. Adam, which category would you like?
Financial news, please. OK,
financial news is the category. The answer is 158 years. What is the question?
How long was the 100 Years' War if you allow for tidying up?
Is it how long before the Fritzl family can look back and laugh?
What about in 2010? What is going to be the average age of the first-time buyer?
How long would it take me to lick my way out of a locked room?
How long will it take my mum to get back from Cyprus after she booked a flight with XL Air?
Is it how old would Keith Richards look if he moisturised?
How long did it take Leslie Ash to put on lipstick?
Is it how much bad luck do you get if you break 22.57 mirrors? Maths, boy.
Is it how long...
No. That's spot on.
Is it how old is the Earth according to Sarah Palin?
How long would it take me to get bored of reversing a car back and forwards across Jeremy Clarkson's twitching, disembodied cock?
Can we move it towards the correct answer?
Is it how old the bank that collapsed, the Lehman Brothers bank?
That's absolutely right. Well done, Frankie. Thank you very much. The question I was looking for is how long had the US bank Lehman Brothers, or Lehman Brothers, but I don't know, who cares now, been trading before it went bust this week? This is the news that Lehman Brothers, America's 4th largest investment bank, has filed for bankruptcy protection since their assets have been bought by Barclays. Are we all feeling really sorry for the staff of...
For a minute there, I thought you said their asses have been bought by Barclays.
They may as well have been, to be honest. And ridden around Canary Wharf like a donkey. Come on, bitch. You're all super talky about how it's a dog-eat-dog world, weren't you, Mr. Trader Man?
I feel like, OK, I'm sorry for support staff who get let go and stuff like that, but bankers?
Yeah.
They're not even going to end up poor. They're going to end up having to sell an ivory figurine of Satan.
I'm looking forward to the new version of Deal or No Deal, where Noel Edmonds phones up the banker and there's nobody there.
Haven't we learned, though, Lehman Brothers, haven't we learned that brothers aren't very good at banking? Does nobody watch Trading Places? I think what's happened is the Lehman or Lehman Brothers have had a bet that one of them can get a black guy to be president, right? They've taken their eye off the ball and they've let this happen. What we need to do is we need to get that crop report off Beaks.
The people who I think must be most pissed off about it, because essentially what we're seeing is the fall of capitalism, isn't it? AIG have gone, Lehman Brothers have gone, everybody's collapsing, Northern Rock has gone. People who must be most pissed off are Al-Qaeda, because they've been spending years doing all this terrorist shit. It turns out all they needed to do was take out some mortgages. On trailer, just take them out. Trailer parks, lots of trailer parks across the USA. They could even have lived in them. Oh, this is much nicer. I've been spending all this time in a cave.
By the way, if you are watching and you're a member of staff of AIG, you've not gone. That was just part of the... Like, certainly the other two you mentioned have gone, but when Hugh said a second ago, AIG have gone, they've not gone, all right? Chill out. Staff of AIG go, this is how I learn, this is how I find out that
People are watching on the Saturday repeat.
Oh, yeah, you're gone. You're gone by now, yeah. You're OK. You had a good Thursday and then Friday. Whoa, Friday was terrible.
It's been so much. They're watching it on Dave. They're just stood outside the window of Dixon's as a tramp.
Imagine that. Imagine if these bankers become homeless. Imagine them selling the big issue. It'd be amazing. Buy!
What shows how materialistic they were is when they found out they were losing their jobs, they went and spent all the credits on their canteen cards, up to £100 on snacks. Yeah. So I love the idea that now there are outside sweet shops, there are men in pinstripe suits going, I will buy or sell wagon wheels.
Yeah. they had these canteen cards that they would charge up with like £100 at a time, and then they would go through it over time, right? Yeah. Which is a fine system, I suppose. But then there was a rush on the canteen, so they all bought and whoever was smart got the Twixes, and some people were left buying bananas, £100 worth of bananas. And you kind of go, if you're so stupid to buy, yeah, exactly. I think the people at home knew what a banana was, but we're dead. But just in case you didn't. But it does show a certain lack of financial knowledge if you bought something that goes off in 2 days.
But that's exactly
investment. I actually heard the other day somebody said, well, it's because of all these ninja loans, and I didn't know that it was no income, no job, and genuinely found myself thinking, why would a ninja need to borrow money? And then I thought it was the most depressing thing ever, just seeing a ninja in a queue, just waiting. Cashier number 1, please. And just seeing... And then, excuse me, can I have money for nunchucks? You know?
I can't wait for high street banks to go bust and those, beautiful buildings get replaced by, recession businesses, like pound shops. Walk-in safes full of See You Jimmy hats. Can I buy a plastic bucket and spade, please? Yes, if I can remember this 300-digit combination.
The most unfortunate person was a French bloke who turned up on Monday morning at Lehman Brothers to be turned away on his first day in the job. Now, the reason he hadn't turned up the week before was he'd actually booked a flight to come to London on XL Airways. And then, when that had gone tits up, he'd rebooked on Eurostar via the Channel Tunnel. Just hope his travel insurance wasn't with AIG.
Talking about butlers are getting laid off because of this. Something I'd love to see a butler going into the Dole office for the first time. How can I help you, sir? How can I help you, sir?
We alluded to which travel company went bust during the week?
XL. Is it really, it's the curse of the shirt sponsors, isn't it?
Well, I was hoping that West Ham were actually going to keep XL on their shirts, weren't they? Because they actually sewed a little bit of material really rubbishly over the top. Yeah. But when footballers score a goal, they often go like this, don't they, when they've scored a goal? I was hoping the West Ham team, when they scored a goal, they just stood very still with their arms out, maybe doing a little bit of taxiing, and that was it.
I thought it was a bit ironic, to be honest, that that West Ham covered over their XL logo because XL was failing and didn't cover over the West Ham logo. Me joshing, only joking, West Ham fans.
I'm not surprised that XL went down. I mean, they were cheap as hell. My brother, wife, and 2 kids all went on holiday to the Caribbean on XL for £500. No wonder they went down. I wish I'd booked a flight with them a few years ago.
Was that business class?
That was business class.
I've got a little tip. If you want to fly business class, right, all you've got to do is put on a really nice suit and get a job.
There's a lot of footage of people in Cyprus coming from a resort, right? And they were going, we got to the airport and we didn't know anything about it. And you're like, that's because you're the sort of person who goes on holiday to a Brits-only resort in Cyprus. You don't know anything about anything. You wouldn't know that you had your stomach pumped on Saturday night if your mates hadn't put it on YouTube. What are they moaning about? Oh, my God, I'm trapped here on holiday in the sunshine with these water slides. Damn you, universe!
OK, what have football fans in Newcastle been protesting about this week?
Oh, isn't it the fact they've got this owner, Mike Ashley, that they want to get rid of? And they're saying, well, he's a Cockney, he's not really got proper links with the city. And they want to see him replaced by a guy called Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
Mike Ashley, he's made his money, hasn't he, by selling very cheap sports clothes.
Yeah.
And the protests at the weekend by the Newcastle fans featured a lot of people wearing cheap sports clothes. They shouldn't be kicking him out, right? They should be worshipping him as a god.
He's got 500 million quid and he spends time in Newcastle. If I had 500 million quid, I'd be living on a self-cleaning sex yacht.
May I just say that would be a phenomenal episode of Wish You Were Here.
Only they brought back Judith Chalmers for that one. Judith, how did you find your night on the yacht?
I think I was spat out by the sluicing gates. I thought it was intriguing. Do you know what the Newcastle's fan spokesman said about all this? he said, Keegan Lake. And it turned out that he was having a stroke and no one had noticed.
The end of that round, the points go to Russell, Gina and Andy. Now we play a round called No Wheel of News is Good News. This game involves Adam, Andy, Frankie and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winner is the team I judge who produce the funniest stuff. Of course it isn't. I just picked them at random. Stop emailing in. OK. OK, let's go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is US politics. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
Now, apparently, a lot of people won't vote for Barack Obama, right, because they think he's a Muslim, and a lot of Americans won't vote for him because they're old and they're white, which obviously just goes to prove that a lot of Americans are either stupid or racist, which in some ways is quite comforting because it's what we'd always expected. We just didn't want to appear stupid or racist. How come there's all this assassination talk now when we've had George W. Bush for 8 years? Where were they when we needed them? 8 out of 43 US presidents, right, have been killed in office. But the closest we've got to in the last 8 years is a pretzel working on their own.
Andy Parsons. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is parenting. Who wants to come in on that? Adam Blue.
Little tip for everyone here with young kids. One photo is all we need to see. One of my best friends had a baby a few years ago, beautiful little boy, Luke. I only have to walk in his front door, I get bombarded with photographs. The worst thing is Luke is standing there. I can see him from most angles already. 36 brand new identical photographs. They're not identical, but they're so similar that if you made a flip book out of them, it would look like this. Got one in the wrong order. Cheers, thank you very much.
Well done, Adam Bloom. OK, we're left with Frankie and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. The next topic is food. Who wants to come in? Frankie.
I am full of opinions about food. Seen the government said they want to bring in compulsory dance classes for fat children. They're not going to have the concentration for that, are they? Everybody do the mashed potato. Oh, mashed potato. Children are fat because we lie to them about vegetables, but we don't go far enough. Oh, eat your spinach, it'll make you strong. These will help you see in the dark. You've left your sprouts behind. You won't be shitting laser beams tomorrow. Don't you want to project the bat signal out of your willy? Don't know where that bit came from. I'd love to project the bat signal out of my willy. I suppose Batman would be quite annoyed when he turned up. What seems to be the trouble? I've had too many sprouts, Batman! Can't turn it off! I was given a recipe book for roadkill. Yeah, I went and got some roadkill and I followed the recipe and it was delicious. I still don't know what to do with his bike.
Thank you very much, Frankie Boyle. OK, Russell, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. OK, it's human behaviour.
Apparently 1 in 20 people have got OCD. I don't know if you knew that. I used to live with a bloke who had OCD. It was fantastic. I used to put Rice Krispies in his slippers before I went out, right? He went absolutely crazy. But not before he counted them all. It was fantastic, right? Just see, snap, crackle, pop, do me special dance, do me special dance. I was in a newsagent the other day and I heard one girl say to another, you can tell whether a bloke's really good in bed if he's intelligent and he's got a funny accent. So I felt compelled to wander over and go, excuse me. delivery be? And they looked at me like I was crazy, you know? But we all act crazy from time to time. My dad's brilliant for this, right? We buried my dog the other day. It was dead. We didn't do it for a laugh. But we were having a funeral for the dog, and my mum went, "Who wants to say goodbye to Bonnie?" And my dad, in the middle of this tender ceremony, just went, "Oh!"
Well done, Russell! And in that round, the points go to Frankie and Adam. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Prime Minister relaxing. What does BFLC stand for?
Brainless, friendless, luckless, clueless.
Is he saying, bring fruit, liquor, cyanide?
Is it boneless fellow loses constitution?
Is it bloody fussin' lussin' credit crunch?
Is he worrying about where he's going to get his next job? Brown Fears Lidl counter?
On a similar note, is it burger, fries, large Coke?
Bollocks, the fool's lost control.
Is it Boyle Fears Large Collider?
I do certainly fear the large collider.
Exactly. That's what I thought it could be.
You look genuinely terrified, like he was going to pull out for his death.
I'm terrified of the large... In fact, every time I'm reminded of it, I'm terrified. They don't even need to build it. If they want to see something that travels at 1,000,000 miles an hour, they should come round to my house and look at the fucking gas meter.
I think it's better find large canoe.
I know what it is. It's Brown Fear's leadership challenge.
Or Faces leadership challenge.
Brown faces leadership crisis.
That's the one, Ali Parson. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Brown faces leadership crisis. This is a story that Gordon Brown is facing increased pressure after a growing number of Labour MPs spoke out against him.
But that's the
Gordon
thing, isn't it?
Brown is sort of like an old dog, isn't he? They're talking about getting rid of him, but they don't do it in front of him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I switched on the news tomorrow and they went, Gordon Brown has gone to live on a farm. It's a happy farm, but we can't visit him for some reason.
But it was a really funny story because the guy who resigned, who sparked this off, was a bloke called Barry Gardiner, who is the special envoy for forestry. And you're like, what? What kind of... It sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings. The economy's in trouble. Send word to the forest elves. And seek counsel with the eagles. It's just... It's clearly a made-up job, isn't it? Special envoy for... Yeah, you are, back in the bus. It has that kind of...
Honestly, if they're looking for someone who's got a higher popularity rating, Robert Mugabe's not doing much at the moment.
Come on.
Is Gordon Brown that bad? I mean, he hasn't really been given a chance to really mess up. He's been waiting for that job forever. I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a bus driver, and because I thought it was cool. Don't judge me. But the thing is, if somebody told me that I was crap at bus driving, I would have sat in that bus and carried on driving it until they turned around and realised how good I was. And then if I turned out that I was actually shit at bus driving, I'd have driven that bus into a pole. But the fact is, what I'm saying is that he should hold on. He should stay in there.
So when things go badly, drive yourself into a pole.
Yeah. Exactly.
A little bit racist. Those people have got every right to be in this country as us.
People aren't happy, though, are they, with Gordon Brown? Because they've got less money. You know, those people, essentially everybody's having to downgrade their supermarket, aren't they? Those people who used to shop in Waitrose, they're now shopping in Asda. Those people who used to shop in Asda, they're now shopping in Aldi. And those people who used to shop in Aldi are now rooting around in bins.
And the people who shopped in Aldi always rooted around in bins. Aldi was just getting the extras. You always did your main shop in the bins.
You can still get shopping in Iceland for under £5, and that's probably because Iceland froze their food before the credit crunch started.
They're talking about bringing in a two-piece sausage, aren't they? And people say that's going to be bollocks, but I think it'll have brains in it as well.
I'm one of the few people who's going to be better off because of Gordon Brown, because I bet someone £10 I'd only say one thing in this round.
I'll give you the tenner now if you want. Meanwhile, what have the Liberal Democrats been up to?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
The voice of a nation cries out. Who cares?
But who does properly go? Because basically what they brought out is tax cuts. That was the general kind of idea. They should just go mad, you know. They're not going to get elected. Just go for wacky things like Kaplunk in every town centre, you know. A robot butler for every one of us. Wouldn't that be great? Bubble wrap as currency. That'd be fantastic.
They should make more of the leader's speech. They should have... Right, because they could just do anything. It's not going to make their support go up or down.
Exactly.
I'd like to see Nick Clegg coming out there naked on a dog lead that's been held by a big gay guy dressed as a minotaur. He shuffles up to the podium on his knees and goes, "Who is the beast and who is the man?" It wouldn't make the slightest difference.
Hang on. There was a quote. Just so you know the level to which even they know that this isn't going to make any difference. They took a poll. 37% of parties and voters agreed that it doesn't make any difference what policies the Lib Dems put forward because they have no realistic chance of ever putting them into practice. This is from supporters of the Lib Dems. And you kind of, why not then? Why not then just go a ladder to the moon? Let us invest all of our money.
Every childless couple in Britain, a clockwork boy called Little Jimmy Rattles.
What is the point of supporting a party that you don't think is ever going to get into power? What do we want? Doesn't matter. When do we want it? We're never going to get it.
Liberal Democrats, Nick Clegg is an example of what happens if you decide you're not going to have people who shag rent boys or are alcoholics.
Yeah.
Thank God the BBC don't do that, or it'd only be Russell on the show.
And then they had Vince Cable. Vince Cable, what a brilliant... He has the ultimate porn star name. He's called Vince Cable. And they still wouldn't elect him.
But no, Vince Cable said about Nick Clegg, didn't he? He said, oh, well, Nick Clegg, he's actually really good in private. Now, that isn't much to good, is it? I bet Emil Heskey scores a lot of goals in his back garden and Guy Ritchie makes a really mean home video.
How depressing would that be if Emil Heskey actually plays football in his back garden?
I suspect he's not practising at all.
Well, how tragic would it be if Emil Heskey played football in his back garden and just held the ball up? Just him on his own, just holding the ball up, waiting for support to come.
As his next-door neighbour boos.
OK, the points there go to Frankie, Hugh and Adam. Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear in a travel documentary.
This man lives under a sheet of tarpaulin and has to walk for 3 hours every morning just to get a drink of muddy water. Nonetheless, he is happy to be Mayor of Dundee.
This week, I shall be travelling to the Middle East, to Africa, to Asia. But if I still can't find my luggage, I'll return to Terminal 5.
It's amazing to think that I'm the first white face these people have ever seen. And the last.
The squawk of parrots, parakeets and toucans has kept me awake all bloody night.
I'm surviving here on nuts and berries. That's the trouble with a documentary funded by Channel 5.
On our third day of filming, an incredible discovery. Hippos are just men in costumes.
So, I, Sir Jimmy, I'm in the Gobi Desert looking for water. Unfortunately, I have found this wadi.
Come on, we're not Rod Gilbert.
This week we're looking at holidays in Gatwick, because apparently you need a passport to go to Honolulu.
Prostitution is rife on the streets of Bangkok, so it really pays to shop around for a bargain.
Don't make the mistake I made. Nudists aren't welcome on every beach. Or at the local schools.
I'm outside the Taj Mahal. In my opinion, the most beautiful, the most striking, the most awe-inspiring curry house on the Edgware Road.
Can you see the lions and the tigers and the crocodiles? Yes? Good. I cannot, because I am here in Peckham.
After an arduous 3-day bus journey, we finally reached the place Ryanair said we were flying to.
The next topic is unlikely lines from a TV detective show.
I cut myself on a glass in your bar. I'd throw that away if I were you. Because I'm Kachalski, the HIV-positive detective.
It was simple. I just Googled who done it.
Fingerprints? I like his music, but that's a bit much.
Miss Marple, we've got no evidence, no forensic stuff, nothing. We don't know what's going on. Don't worry, just pin it on the black guy.
So, all the suspects are linked. Thomas knows Mallinson, Mallinson knows the victim, and they all live in the flat. But what do I know? I'm only the window cleaner.
So what can we tell from these bite marks on the breasts? We can tell that I shouldn't be left alone with a body.
To be honest, Watson, I couldn't care. I'm coked off my tits.
If you think it is murder on the Orient Express, you should try the shuttle between Glasgow and Edinburgh on Saturday night.
Where has Inspector Frost gone? I saw him only a moment ago, leaning on the hatch of that wine bar counter over there.
Sure, so there's shit going down in the high-rise. That's what you get with crack and blow. But I ain't going to answer no more of your questions, Miss Marple.
Michael Jackson, we've been questioning you for days. And this is your defence? You blame it on the boogie?
Well, he's got the profile of a killer, see?
The end of that round, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Adam. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Adam Bloom. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Jeannie Ashray and Russell Howard. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Bill Bailey and Phil Jupitus are along with Simon Amstel in Nevermind the Buzzcocks at 10 on BBC Two, after the moment when Janice figures out what Terry's been up to and hits the roof in the cup. That's coming up next.